I've pulled all-nighters before, but a man in South Korea almost pulled off 3 all-nighters in a row. After a 50-hour StarCraft session, the South Korean man collapsed and died from heart failure. It was presumed that his death was caused by exhaustion because he had only stopped to use the washroom and stopped to sleep for short periods of time. There had been other cases in China where people have been playing anywhere from 3 to 15 days straight. However, I chose to include this one because it received attention from major news. And listen to this story. 17-year-old Daniel Petrick murdered his mother and injured his father after they refused to let him play Halo 3. The previous entries and most of the entries are related to massive multiplayer online games. Because of how he murdered his mother, Petrick walked into his parents' room and said, "Would you close your eyes? I have a surprise for you," before shooting his mother in between the eyes and then shooting his father. This eerie line sounds like it came straight out of a horror movie. There are so many more stories I can talk about, but these are the main ones that stood out to me because whoever knew a video game could take someone's life all because it becomes an addiction. Addiction means a fact or a condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. We hear of drug addiction, sex addiction, even exercise addiction, but video game addiction is less talked about. That's why it's needed to be looked at more seriously. Parents are letting their children get so addicted to these video games they don't eat, sleep, or even get out of the house. Video games are a way for the parents to just let their kids get out of their hair while they go do their housework, go to town, or even relax to watch a movie. Instead of giving your child a video game, make them do things with you instead of without you. It will help your guys' relationship and connection, but it will also help their health in the long run. The most hardest thing for parents to really understand is the symptoms to look for in their child when they are becoming addicted to a video game. Preoccupation is number 1. Someone who is addicted to a computer, video, or internet gaming often exhibits an unusual preoccupation with the game or computer when they are away from it. The team could seem distracted, irritable, or disinterested and may talk about the game constantly. Lack of control is number 2. A person who is addicted or at risk of becoming addicted to a game is unable to control the amount of time they spend on the computer. They may go online with the intent to only spend 15 to 20 minutes, but will keep extending the time until several hours have passed. Negative impact on other areas of life is the symptom number 3. Because the person spends so much time on the computer or video game console, other areas of life are neglected. He or she may grow distant from friends and family they have previously been close to. Homework may go unfinished, causing grades to slip. In more extreme cases, the teen may even neglect personal hygiene, choosing to play a video game rather than taking a shower. You're probably wondering, is gaming addiction even that big of a deal? Yes, it really is that big of a deal. Gaming addiction can have serious physical, emotional, and social consequences. So what should you do if you know someone is struggling with gaming addiction? Try and get them some help. Start by letting him or her know you're worried about the amount of time they spend gaming. Show them the symptoms. Let him or her read the symptoms for themselves. Ask them if they think that these symptoms describe their behavior. If they say, which they most likely will say no, ask if you can show them the symptoms and see why and show them why they concern you. When you're talking to someone about a possible gaming addiction, try not to be judgmental or angry. It's common for a person who is confronted about an addiction to get defensive. They might feel ashamed or even embarrassed and not want to admit that there's a problem. Be honest about that behavior. You've noticed, and make sure your friend knows that you've noticed and that you care for them and that that's the reason why you're talking to them about this. Telling your friend you care about them is a great way to switch from talking about gaming addiction symptoms to possible consequences of the addiction. You can tell your friend that you've read about what can happen to people who are addicted to these video games, and that you don't want to see someone you care so much about have a life like that. If after talking to your friend, they aren't willing to admit there's a problem, just don't give up. Talk to an adult you trust, like a parent or a teacher. In many cases, the best person to talk to is your friend's mom or dad, because they live with them and they can keep an eye on their behavior and watch for anything unhealthy. If there is a problem, they have the best chances of helping your friend to set those boundaries that are needed. Tell them the same things you told your friend, that you've read about the consequences, you've read about the symptoms of gaming addiction, and that you're really concerned. It may help to print out some of the articles also with symptoms and take them with you so your friends' parents can read and know the information for themselves. An addiction to video games or computer games should be treated in much the same way as any other addiction. Like other addicts, gamers are often trying to escape problems in their lives. Video and computer games offer a particularly appealing escape to the social, unadjusted teenagers, most often boys, who find it intoxicating to become involved in a world completely under their control. When they play, their brains produce endorphins, giving them a high similar to that experienced by drug addicts. Gamers' responses to questions even mirror those of alcoholics and gamblers when they are talked about. But there is another real challenge when quitting an activity that occupies all of your free time and involves pretty much everyone in your social network. Kids who are addicted to virtual reality have lost or may have had the ability to comfortably communicate with people face to face. They've spent all of their time interacting in a virtual world and are extremely uncomfortable when dealing with real people in real time. Shy or socially awkward kids are at greater risk of video game addiction than children who compete in sports or group activities. Take away their computer or game console, and how will they spend their time? They know nothing else but playing video games. Helping them change will likely require some outside help. They need to build confidence in order to feel comfortable in the real world. As anyone who has to quit smoking or has been on a diet knows, it is much harder to quit when the object of your addiction is always in your face and when everyone you know is participating in it. It's likely that a child addicted to computer games also has to use the computer for schoolwork, and their friends are likely all gamers as well. So how do you begin to fight the addiction to someone that constantly has to be by the addiction? Well, a therapist or a treatment program that specializes in adolescents would be the first place to start. For example, a summer camp or wilderness program will get your child out of his normal environment and into a situation where he is forced to experience reality. His time will be filled with activities that are designed to instill confidence, develop healthy passions, and foster social skills. Of course, choosing the right program, preferably one that has a therapeutic element, will be essential. Sending a socially challenged child to a rough and tumble military or boot camp with highly competitive activities could do more harm than good. Therapeutic boarding schools and wilderness camp for teens that specialize in treating addiction and behavioral issues may just be what your child needs to turn their life around. I really do hope that what I have said does change the way parents think about video games and children. Start them out young, to take time for family and social events also. You wouldn't, and I know I wouldn't, want my children to turn out the way those two children turned out that I first began my speech. You know, violence and anger and even death. Yes, it may be easy to say, here, go play your tablet, I'm cleaning, or go play your Xbox, I'm trying to watch my show. Instead, get your child involved. It will make life a lot better for the both of you and for your child's health. Thank you.